Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Wajaha, and in this video I want to talk about a new layer 1 blockchain. It's called Sui. So as always, let's get straight to it. This is a new blockchain that's currently in development, and I thought it'd just be interesting to just briefly talk about it, just so it's on your guys' radar. Now, we've got a lot of layer 1s that have come out, especially in the last few years. You've got all the Ethereum killers, Solana, Avalanche, Terra, of course. You've got some of the OG ones like Cardano as well, Phantom. There's so many. There's some interesting new ones as well, like Kujira, Secret Network, and I think there is a lot of competition, and one thing that I like is competition because it drives innovation essentially. This is a new one that's coming out or on the cusp of coming out, so I thought it'd just be good to just talk about it because it's got a lot of people in the community talking about it. So what is Sui and kind of where did it come from? Well, I thought let's just go through this Twitter thread by someone called Trace, who I thought was really interesting. So Sui is created by a bunch of different people from Facebook, essentially. This is one of the people, the CEO and co-founder Ivan, who's from MystenLabs, and MystenLabs is this kind of company that have decided to basically create this layer 1, and a lot of the people who work for MystenLabs have experience with Meta. They have some blockchain experience, and I believe they've created some crypto/blockchain stuff in the past. Perhaps not successful, but they have experience, and I guess they're building upon that. So that's essentially what they've done. Let's talk about what it is exactly. So it's a layer 1, and it's a high performance layer 1, and the early results running Sui on a MacBook Pro were able to process over 120,000 transfers per second. TPS wise, that's pretty good, but I think a lot of these newer layer 1s have kind of solved this kind of issue regarding TPS. I think the issue comes along making sure they have the same level of security as other blockchains like Ethereum do provide. Now, one of the interesting things is that the way that transactions run on this blockchain is that, usually they have to be placed in an order book, and usually they are done one by one, block by block. Essentially with Sui, the way that these transactions can happen is that they can be run in parallel, and that's because there's two different consensus mechanisms or pathways. This Byzantine consistent broadcast for independent transactions, and BFT consensus for dependent transactions. Now, I guess it's not too important to really get confused about this, but essentially Sui is able to run transactions in parallel, which means more can be done, and that means it helps with scalability essentially, and that's really good. Interestingly, it doesn't use Solidity, doesn't even use Rust. It uses a language kind of built upon Rust, or built similar to Rust, and it's called Move. So it's a different language. Let's see what challenges that brings with bringing developers on board and all of that sort of stuff. At the end of the day, it's a layer 1, so you want to get high quality applications built on it, and in order to do so, you want to make it as easy as possible for developers to come onto the chain and work on there. So scrolling down, this thread, I'll link it in the description below. You can have a read. It just kind of talks a little bit more about Move and how some engineers have had some thoughts about it. Let's talk about the tokenomics. So they've announced that there will be a token. We don't know who's going to get the token at the moment, but there will be a token. There will be a 10 billion total supply, and its function is going to be very similar to kind of other layer 1s, so it's going to be very easy to see where the value of that token comes. You've obviously got staking, which is to enable security. This is a proof of stake chain. You've got transaction fees, so gas fees like you would use for any other application on any other layer 1. You've got governance, of course, and you've got obviously being a unit of exchange or medium of exchange, just as kind of other layer 1s are as well. They run an epoch, with every epoch being 24 hours. I think some other blockchains like Harmony have a similar epoch, and yeah, that's pretty much it really. That's kind of just what I wanted to talk about. I think it's something to definitely keep an eye on. I think the team is targeting as Trace mentions here, gaming, DeFi, commerce, and social aspects. I think they really want to focus on, you know, the low value transactions because of, you know, how scalable it is. I think gaming and commerce really fits into that category. So let's kind of see what happens. You know, they've got a really good website where they kind of go through the team. Oh, sorry, it's over here, sorry. They go through the team, they go through kind of what's going on with Sui. They've got some very complex stuff on here as well. And, you know, you can basically start building on here immediately, really. So, you know, they really want to grow this. It looks very professional. And I think the interesting thing is they have got quite a lot of VC backing. And I think that means that, you know, people do believe in it. Let's see what happens. Of course, this is just the very start. You know, it's not the only layer one that's come out as well. There's another one called Aptos, which I'll try and make a video about very soon. It's an interesting time. You know, the bear market is where builders develop. So let's see what happens with this. I just wanted to bring this to your attention, just something to keep your eye out on. So yeah, that's all I've got for you today. Make sure you smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be back with another video soon.